Have you done a proper stress test of your retirement plan? And by proper stress test, I mean, have you tested your plan for all sorts of scenarios in the future so that you know that it's going to carry you through all the way to the end of life? In the future, we could have economic periods that are good and other times where it's bad. We could have markets that are up and other times where they're down. Inflation could be up, inflation could be down, interest rates could be higher or lower, taxes could go up, they might come down. We want to know that no matter what happens, that your plan is going to carry you through. And so stress testing is projecting different combinations of possible scenarios to see that your plan does actually continue to hold strong for you, provide you the income that you need, and still have money left all the way to the end of life. Now, that's where I have an issue with some of the plans that I see. People will come in and do planning with me, and they'll bring examples of things that they've worked on in the past or had prepared for them in the past. And a lot of those plans are just run out to age 90 or 92. While that may seem like a very long time, we have to consider how much our life expectancy has increased over the last 100 years. And we have to consider what's going on with our medical advances currently, as well as consider that, some people live past that average and can live a good long time past that average because they pull the average up. And we don't know what your situation would be. So you want to make sure that you run it out long enough to know that it is actually going to carry you through all the way to the end. Now, with a lot of these plans that I look at, I see that it is beginning to drop off. It'll be run to age 90 or 92. It's beginning to drop off a little bit. And what you have to understand behind the scenes, what's happening is the increase in the cost of expenses versus how much income you have to come in to cover that gap. Pensions typically don't have any cost of living adjustment. Social Security a lot of times doesn't keep up with what is actual inflation for retirees. And there are other things that could cause that gap to increase over time. And if that gap is increasing and yet the gain or the interest or the dividends on your portfolio are not fully covering that gap, you're dipping into those accounts a little bit. Now, a lot of people don't want to leave all of their money that they've saved to their heirs. And so that's fine because you saved it for yourself. You want to spend it for yourself. You just want to make sure it lasts as long as you do. And if it's beginning to dip down because you're dipping into it a little bit more, you want to know what the trajectory is because each time it dips, you have to take a little more out. There's a little less to earn interest. You have to take even more out to cover the gap the following year because you don't have as much interest or dividends or gains on that little bit smaller balance. And so the gap increases over time. And it's important to know the trajectory of that so that if you do live past 90 or past 92, you're fine. You're good. It'll continue for many more years without having to make any drastic changes at that point. Certainly don't want you to have to do that. And so stress testing properly includes not just looking at future economic scenarios or future market scenarios where tax rates and inflation and interest rates might be in different time periods, but it also means looking at different longevities. You might live longer, you might live shorter. Your spouse might live longer, your spouse might live shorter. There could be a bigger gap between how long each of you are here, or you could both live to roughly about the same point in time. You want to look at those scenarios as well and know that your plan carries you all the way through to the end. And sometimes people say, well, I really don't want to live that long. I don't want to live into my 90s. And I'm reminded of the time that George Burns said, the only person that does want to live to 100, the person who wants to live to 100 is that guy that's 99. And that's so true. When you get there, you're going to want to be healthy, but you also want to be financially healthy so that you can keep going and keep going well. And with that, If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. I will answer it directly.